So back in 2018, A Quiet Place, directed by John Krasinski, introduced us to the resilient Abbott family. Led by Krasinski's character Lee and Evelyn Abbott, portrayed by Emily Blunt, they fought for survival against the terrifying Death Angels, an alien species that preyed on any noise. Their journey continued in A Quiet Place Part 2, where they encountered new aliens and discovered innovative ways to combat their menace. Now, in the gripping prequel A Quiet Place Day 1, we are transported to the very beginning of that invasion. This time though, we follow the story of Sam, played by the talented Lupita Nyong'o, and Eric, portrayed by Joseph Quinn. These new faces find themselves stranded in the heart of New York City on the fateful day when the Death Angels arrived. So not only does it unveil a different setting, but it also introduces us to captivating new characters. Through their eyes, we witness the closest and most comprehensive depiction of the Death Angels' arrival, and we also gain insight into the devastating impact these aliens had on densely populated urban areas, a perspective we had yet to explore. Furthermore, A Quiet Place Day 1 delves deeper into the lives of some survivors who eventually become leaders in the island colony featured in A Quiet Place Part 2. While it expands our understanding of this, it still leaves us yearning for more. So one might assume that the timeline of Day 1 is quite straightforward, but it's not as simple as it seems, because the exact time when the events of these horror movies unfold is not explicitly mentioned. The initial day of the Death Angels invasion is June the 18th, 2020, which marks the beginning of the new movie. The new film then spans over the following 2 days as Sam and Eric navigate their way towards Harlem. We are aware of this date because in the first movie, the character Bo tragically loses his life 89 days into the invasion. His memorial states that he passed away on September the 14th, 2020. The rest of the first film takes place approximately a year later, in October of 2021, as it's revealed that it's day 473 of the current invasion. And A Quiet Place Part 2 then picks up shortly after Lee Abbott's death in rural New York, with the story beginning with the birth of Lee and Evelyn's baby and the family embarking on a search for other survivors after their home was destroyed. This quest led them to Cillian Murphy's Emmett and his underground bunker. Eventually, Emmett and Regan venture to a nearby island, hoping to find more survivors. And it's on this island that Djimon Hounsou's Henry from Day 1 meets his fate on day 477 of the invasion. So the key connection between Part 2 and Day 1 lies in the character of Henry. The prequel delves into his background, as well as the band of survivors journeying to that island. The new film does set up Henry's journey pretty nicely at the end too, and of course I'll come back to that once I've gone over the full plot of Day 1, which primarily situates around the new characters of Sam and Eric. Coming to that, in A Quiet Place Day 1, we first meet Sam, a cancer patient in hospice care who embarks on a trip to Manhattan with nurse Ruben and other residents to watch a puppet show. Their journey takes a dark turn when the Death Angels put in motion their initial attack, causing citywide chaos and destruction. Sam, Ruben, Henry, and a few survivors seek refuge in a theatre where they begin to realise that the creatures hunt by sound. So as the city falls into disarray, both civilians and the military face struggle to fight back, and we see that those within the theatre have to deal with multiple issues to remain undetected. First, Sam attracts the attention of a Death Angel soon after she wakes up from the initial attack and tries to stop her cat Frodo from wandering about. Her and Ruben narrowly escape this close encounter, but then soon after, they and the other survivors hear loud explosions outside. They eventually head to the roof and see that the military has destroyed the surrounding bridges that lead into the city. Loudspeakers then blare throughout the city, urging residents to evacuate the bridges to keep the non-swimming aliens at bay. And soon after, a mass evacuation by boat kicks off from the port ferry. Fearing the worst about what's happened, one of the individuals on the rooftop begins to panic and shout, meaning that Djimon's Henry has to step in and unfortunately kill him. You can tell that he's devastated in doing this, but in this new world, one has to clearly adapt quite quickly and make sacrifices for the survival of others. And the third issue that Sam encounters while at that theatre involves the loud noise of a backup generator within the building, which Ruben tries to turn off but gets killed doing so right in front of Sam. After this incident, Sam makes the bold decision to embark on a solo journey with her cat Frodo. The destination of that journey may catch you off guard initially, but as we discover more about her battle with cancer and her past, it becomes truly inspiring. Despite her declining health, she is determined to make her way back home to Harlem in search of a piece of Patsy's pizza and to rekindle happy memories. So while others are urged to seek safety by the water due to the aliens' inability to swim and are being rescued by government boats, Sam remains resolute in her mission to reach Harlem. Day 1 essentially revolves around the city's rapid adjustment to the aliens' heightened sense of hearing, but then within that chaos, it shines a spotlight on one woman's heartwarming journey in the opposite direction. On her journey, she soon finds herself accompanied by Joseph Quinn's Eric, a law student from Kent. Eric is overwhelmed by the chaos unfolding around him and decides to stick with her for support. Their paths cross when Eric emerges from a flooded subway tunnel, drenched and terrified. The sight of Frodo peering down at him from above brings him some relief, and he regains his composure and follows the cat. It's then that he meets Sam in a nearby alley and learns of her determination to make her way back home to Harlem. Eric, feeling scared and alone, decides to join Sam and Frodo on their journey, despite Sam's attempts to convince him to follow the others to the shore. Throughout all of this, Sam remains calm in the face of danger, perhaps because she has come to terms with her own morality, while Eric, on the other hand, provides physical strength to help Sam when she struggles or feels pain. So through their shared experiences, they form an unlikely bond and become friends amidst the chaos of the apocalypse. While Sam's health continues to deteriorate, they do eventually make their way to Harlem, and once they arrive, we find out the true reason for her obsessive journey there. We learn that Sam cherishes the precious memories of her father from her childhood, memories that bring her comfort. These memories were formed before her father's tragic death due to cancer, and among these cherished moments, Sam holds dear the times when she would watch her father perform jazz at a bar and indulge in Patsy's pizza. These memories of warmth and joy are what Sam clings to as she faces her own morality, knowing that her life is coming to an end and the world may be on the brink of destruction. However, when Sam and Eric set out to relive these memories there, they are met with disappointment. Patsy's Pizza, the place where Sam and her father would share those special moments, has been reduced to rubble, so it initially seems that the possibility of revisiting those memories has slipped away. But Eric, being the thoughtful friend that he now is, refuses to let this setback dampen their spirits. They share a glass of whiskey and revisit the soulful atmosphere that was once in there, and later on, Eric goes outside and finds pizza from another nearby restaurant. He ends up writing Patsy's on the box, determined to make this moment as special as possible for Sam. And as they sit together enjoying the pizza, it becomes a beautiful moment between these newfound friends. So in that moment, Sam's journey has been completed. Despite the peculiar nature of it, it's a testament to the power of warm childhood memories and the desire to hold on to them, even in the face of life's uncertainties. Sam's thoughts are took up by these treasured memories, reminding us all of the importance of cherishing the moments that bring us comfort and joy. So while Sam's purposeful journey is complete, there has to be a resolution to Eric's, and Day 1's ending does give us quite a solid conclusion for it. As Eric and Sam bid farewell to the jazz club, their eyes catch sight of a boat sailing away from the city. On the shoreline, death angels look on at the boat, unable to reach the survivors on board. She places her yellow jacket on Eric and then hands him Frodo, her cherished cat. Despite her initial reluctance to have Eric by her side, Sam has grown fond of him during their time together, and in their silent exchange, it becomes clear that Sam has given Eric her yellow sweater for sentimental reasons. It's a memento for him to hold on to and a reminder of their bond. It's evident that Sam wants him to survive and continue on with her beloved companion, as she knows her illness leaves her no chance of long-term survival. So Eric embarks on the perilous journey towards the shore, while Sam heads in the opposite direction. Determined to create a diversion, she causes chaos by smashing nearby cars, triggering their alarms, and creating as much noise as possible. Just a small thing I noticed here was that Eric did the same action to temporarily give himself and Sam more time in an alien chase prior to reaching Patsy's, so her doing the same thing at the end to save him is quite the poetic move. The distraction itself allows Eric and Frodo to make a run for it, and while Eric does accidentally make a noise and almost get killed along the way, he just manages to get into the water with Frodo in time. As they step onto the ship, Eric is helped up by Henry and potentially other survivors who will establish the island colony depicted in A Quiet Place Part 2. This island, situated beyond mainland New York, is revealed in the movie when Emmett converses with Henry. Only 2 boats manage to reach this secluded haven, and this particular vessel is one of them. As we learn though, one of the aliens does manage to infiltrate the island, resulting in the death of numerous inhabitants. So ultimately, we'll have to see if Eric is ever brought back into the frame, but for right now, it seems like his journey is a separated one that takes place in the time prior. I guess you never know, he could appear as one of the island survivors following the creature's attack at the end of Part 2, but again, we'll just have to wait and see. But after finding safety on the boat, Eric discovers a heartfelt note from Sam tucked away in the pocket of the jumper she gave him. The note reveals that saving him and her beloved cat had been her plan all along as she rekindled her childhood memories. In a playful manner, she also reminds him to take good care of the cat and not to overfeed him, just as they had joked about before. And despite the world being in ruins, Sam feels a sense of completeness thanks to Eric's presence, and she eventually returns the favour by helping him. Speaking of Sam, although her journey had come to an end, the final scene does belong to her. She takes control of her own destiny, strolling through the deserted streets of Harlem with Nina Simone's Feeling Good playing on her iPod. She savours this last moment of normality before removing her earphones and letting the music blast out loud. And with that, an alien lands right behind her and the screen fades to black. So it's safe to assume that Sam is immediately killed, but she departs feeling whole. She found peace in the fact that she felt alive again after a long period of time feeling defeated and waiting for death. In her final moments, Sam experiences the utmost happiness she has felt in a long time. She was able to return home, reminisce about her father, and enjoy some good pizza. And most importantly, she formed a genuine friendship with Eric, someone who truly cared for her. Having been on the brink of death for a while as she was in hospice care, it's possible that Sam felt it was her time to go. So she seized the opportunity to feel alive once more and perhaps wanted to depart on her own terms without fear. In coming to the conclusion of this new film, a final thing to mention is that there's another installment of the Quiet Place franchise currently in the works. This won't be a sequel to Day 1, and instead, it will serve as a direct continuation of the story from A Quiet Place Part 2, focusing once again on the Abbott family. A while back, John Krasinski mentioned his intention to release this movie in 2025, but it appears that we might have to wait a bit longer for its arrival. Still, in the meantime, we got another great film in Day 1, and quite honestly, I wasn't expecting this prequel of sorts to be as good as it was. On upcoming film releases like A Quiet Place Day 1, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, rating, and follow me on social media via the links in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.